Yes.
Can we pass these down? Please, thank you. So on about a week ago, I had made a Facebook post about this process, and it reads, Chief and constituents, I need your input. Next Monday, May 12th, the City of Chiefland Commission will be selecting a mayor and vice mayor. Although I personally believe that this decision should be made by the voters, the current process places the responsibility in the hands of the commissioners. Since you, the people, are not given a direct vote in this matter, I want to hear from you. As your elected representatives, I strive to make decisions that reflect the voice of the community. Please share your thoughts on who you believe would best serve as mayor and vice mayor of Chiefland. I ask that you base your suggestion not on personal friendships, but on who you feel truly will represent the city of Chiefland with integrity, vision, and commitment to progress. Feel free to comment below or send me a private message if you prefer. Your voice matters to me, LaWanda Jones, Chiefland City Commissioner. I want to make clear that I was not telling someone to vote for one person. First of all, the community cannot vote. I was not telling them to give me input on one person to influence my vote. I just want input from the community to make my decision. But I wrote some notes down because I know it's going to get in my feelings and forget to say something. But I do want to make clear that my comment regarding the selection of the mayor and vice mayor were not personal. They were about accountability and democracy. I believe the people of Chiefland deserve a voice in choosing who represents them in leadership. This has been my stance since day one. We are elected to serve a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Leadership roles such as mayor and vice mayor should be determined by the community, not decided solely by commissioners through an internal vote. Once again, that's my opinion. Furthermore, the current process can create an uncomfortable dynamic where commissioners may feel pressured or intimidated during the selection. In fact, like I said, I have a copy of the mayor's post that he posted this morning that someone sent to me. In fact, the tone and content of this public response only reinforced my concern. When commissioners raise legitimate questions and are met with emotionally charged statements that feel like a personal attack, it discourages open dialogue and borders on intimidation. That's not how democracy should function, and it's exactly why more transparency and public input are necessary. To be clear, I have never publicly or privately expressed displeasure about the mayor holding that seat. My concern has always been about the process and not about the person. To imply otherwise is misleading and untrue. Additionally, referring to my short tenure is, in this context, feels condescending. Every commissioner, no matter how long they've served, has the right and the duty to raise questions, propose changes, and advocate for the people they represent. I also want to address the serious accusation of bigotry. A community member who happens to be white expressed her personal hopes for future leadership, someone younger, more visible, active, more rooted in the community, and more reflective of its diversity. That is not bigotry.
I think you
that is a desire for, there's a copy of her in here. That was her desire for inclusion. Mischaracterizing her statement is not only misleading, it's an unfair attack on her character. Let's also remember that our commission seats are nonpartisan. Bringing political affiliation into this discussion only distracts from the work we are elected to do, which is to serve all residents of Chiefland, regardless of party, background, or belief. In closing, I should be able to interact with the community to solicit their input without the fear of intimidation or retaliation. Please note, I won't shy away from asking tough questions. That's not personal, it's my responsibility as a commissioner. I will continue working for what's best for the community with transparency, integrity, and courage. I will not be discouraged or silenced by doing so.
My post, there's a certain thing called parentheses, and that is a direct quotation of what your friend says in his hearing. In fact, I'll read it to the audience. I'm not a fan of the current mayor. I'd love to see a woman. I'd love to see someone who isn't white or of white passing. I'd love to see someone who's active in the community, someone who's lived here most of their life, someone who has children in the community, someone under 50. Everything that I quoted was directly from here. Nothing taken out of context. And with regards, do you realize these minutes are recorded?
I do realize they are.
Excuse me, I gave you the perspective.
You asked me a question.
Let me finish. What I'm stating, these minutes are recorded. You stood right there, or sit right there, and openly express your displeasure with me. So I'm simply, once again, only quoting what you said. Simple as that.
I'm sorry, you said I sit here and express my displeasure today?
No,
or
I didn't say
prior
that.
to?
I said in the past. In the past.
Can you tell me when have I said?
Oh, I definitely couldn't tell you when, but definitely the minutes are recorded.
Okay, kind of elaborate on when have I ever sat here? Well, I don't have to ask you, I'm gonna ask everyone else that's been in all these meetings. Have you ever heard me say, I want the mayor gone? Have you ever heard me talk down on the mayor? Mr. Weaver?
No, ma'am.
Larissa?
No, ma'am.
Kim?
Never talked down. You directly sit there and made the statement that you weren't happy.
Does anyone recall that?
Excuse me, happy with my position, and that was not a personal reflection. Those are your exact words.
I never said I'm not happy with your position.
Okay, at this
And I'm not gonna
time,
go back and forth about that.
right, at this
Sorry.
time,
No, we're not.
we're
That's
gonna go
factual.
ahead and
That's
take
factual.
our first nomination.
I have one more thing from Ms. Larissa, if I can.
Okay.
Okay, you said that you have an interest in, I mean, that if you were selected, you will step into that position. My question I have for you, because I did receive some feedback from other citizens, and one thing that was a concern was they feel that maybe you have some influence on CAAA. Can you please clear that up for?
Absolutely.
You're referring to me?
No, I think she's asking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so in the most recent, I have reached out about CAAA. Now, I do have a grandbaby who's about to start playing. I don't have anybody on board. I don't have any friends there, and I have reached out to become more involved. If that crosses that line of Commissioner CAAA, then I would back away. But I've got a 3-year-old who's about to start playing ball, and now I'm going to be more involved. I have nothing to do with what happens there. I do have some concerns about what's going on there, only as, and I'm just being transparent, only as I've had citizens call me about things that are happening. Laura's aware of them. I'll call her immediately because that's your recreation, and I can't call you directly about it, so I call Laura. That'd be the only thing. I'm not understanding really what the influence would be. If it's interest, sure. If I'm gonna have some kids playing there, we coach cheerleading together there, for many years. So that would be my only interest, I guess I would say.
So for clarity, you're not trying to dismantle CAAA or, and also, we do understand that the city has nothing to do with CAAA.
Yes, absolutely.
That's all.
At this time, we need to go ahead and move forward with our first nomination, please.
Okay, based upon the information and what I've heard and what's going on, I feel there should be a different direction, more of a business type attitude, a person in and about our city, and I would like to nominate Marissa as our mayor.
I have no problem with that, Ms. Weaver, but my question, I'd like you to explain, what do you mean as far as the atmosphere of what's going on?
What I mean is she is more in the business. She's got her feet on the ground, meeting more people on a daily basis, in and out the community. She travels here, travels there. She's involved. And I think that her being closer to the ground level, we could hear more about what we need to do, how we can do it, that type of nature. It has nothing to do with personalities or any of the disagreement that's expressed here today. I'm just talking about where I think the city should be headed, and that's why I'm nominating Larissa as mayor.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I second.
Motion been moved to second. At this point,